Hey, okay, so welcome to the show. We are live with Matt and Julie. Can you guys hear us? Matt, can you guys hear us? So, hi guys, this is Matt and Julie, and you are actually Matt's a former friend of mine from well, not former friend, but formerly from Virginia. Can you guys mute your out your volume? We're getting a lot of feedback. Just leave your microphone on. Yeah, that sounds better. That sounds good. Yeah, just your microphone. Now you can't hear me. Okay, I think that might be better. Yeah, we're not getting the feedback. You can't hear me. Nope, no feedback now. Can you hear me though? There we go. We got it. Okay. So, Matt is a friend of mine from Virginia. He was part of the Red Vein Army, who was actually on the first episode of Coffee with the Dead. We did a walkthrough with them, and just recently he moved to Calker City, Kansas, and is in the process of opening up Auditorium and Monster Museum. So this is Matt and his partner Julie. Do you guys want to kind of just give a little introduction of what you're doing? That's awesome. So, do you have a date for your grand opening in mind? Yeah. Okay. So that's a good spot. Are there any chances of getting on like the roadside attractions list since you're across from the Twine? That'd be great. What inspired you to, drop everything you were doing with Red Vein and just go to Kansas?
Big road trip. I left my job, bought a Subaru, a better car, and spent 2 months driving across the country, just seeing all the little roadside attractions that there are. Always kind of really liked the idea of roadside attractions and things like that. And so I was kind of halfway looking like on Route 66 for a place. And then I came to Kansas specifically to see the Ball of Twine because I had made the joke that I was going to go see all the world's largest whatevers, balls of
Mm.
twine, forks, and whatnot. And so I came to Kansas to see the Ball of Twine. Uh, and that leg of the trip, I was by myself, so I stopped for the night in the town. And before I was leaving the next day, I happened to notice that a building was for sale. And by December, I owned that building. And then it's been a month now, we moved here and have been painting and building and setting up shop.
That's awesome. So, was this already a shop, or what kind of made you say this is the building?
This space originally was a bank. So it was built around 1907, 1909, something like that. Uh, our shop area was actually the bank. So the wall behind me that's striped is actually the vault, the bank vault. The doors aren't there, but so there's retail space here, and then there's an apartment upstairs and behind it that we live in. So this is it was kind of perfect because you know our shop and our living space was all in one place, and the price just couldn't be beat. I couldn't afford to do this in Richmond or in Virginia, and so this is really just a great opportunity for us to try something new and to really try something from the ground up.
So, both of you have been just working nonstop, painting and designing, this turning it into an abandoned. I guess was it abandoned when you found it, or
No, it had been an antique store.
okay,
So for a long time, the building kind of sat unused, and then uh, the former owner bought it about 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, and he ran an antique shop out of this space and lived in the apartment. And he spent a lot of time and money uh, rehabbing it. It still has a lot of the original features to the building. It changed the windows and the electrical and the plumbing and all the major stuff. And so when I heard what the asking price was for the building, I was like, this is it.
right?
And the fact that we are literally just feet away from the world's largest ball of twine, we can see it from our window. And, you know, there's nothing else here in this town. There's a Dollar General if you want to stop and get a soda or something, but that's it.
Right.
Nobody is taking advantage of the hundreds of people every day and every week that happen to come through this town to see the ball of twine.
You would
So
think there would have been like a whole like strip mall of just shops or something.
you would think, and there have been a few people who have tried to do like an antique store and a gift shop or whatever. There is one couple here who have acquired some of the property in town, and what they do is they have changed like an old gas station into an inn and whatnot, because we're also on the shores of Lake Wakanda.
So
It's
you
like
made it on
what?
a list already, or just the
What
city? Is it just Calker City that's on the list?
on what list?
The tours of the lakes tours that you were just mentioning.
Oh, we're on the shore of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh.
we're on the
Okay,
shore of Lake Wakanda.
okay.
So in the 60s, the the Army Corps of Engineers flooded this spring and created a large freshwater lake here. And so there's a lot of fishing and hunting in the area. And so the town really just survives because of the ball of twine and because of the hunters and fishers that come. And so we're trying to kind of make it more of a destination place where
Yeah.
people can come and stay a little bit. And so, you know, being that close to the water, and you know, so they created a lot of inns, but there was no place really to kind of stop and to look around, especially if you're with a family. You know, you would have to drive a good couple of hours off the main highway to come here, and then there's no place to get a soda, or as they say in this area, pop.
A pop, yeah.
Yeah, uh, to get a pop and you know, candy bar and whatnot. So that's kind of be our main staple, is to sell uh, pop and vintage candy uh, to people who are coming through town. We kind of took our lead from Captain Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpses,
Mm.
where he provided service that people needed. He was doing gas and fried chicken. So we're going to leave the murder part out and just try to
Right.
provide the service that people want, which is just some fun place to, get something to eat, and we're going to sell some weird, stupid little souvenirs and whatnot.
You could have those insect lollipops, the lollipops with the
Yeah,
bugs in them.
yeah. We've looked at a lot of different things. We're going to specialize in like vintage candy
Yeah.
bars we haven't seen in a long time. We're selling regular sodas, but then we'll also filter in some fun flavors like mustard and ranch and dirt and those kinds of things. And uh, just have fun stuff that you would want on a road trip. Our
Right.
logo is has a monster finger puppet on it, so hopefully we're gonna build the world's largest monster finger puppet to be associated with our shop.
Oh,
And
that'd be awesome. Now, have you been in touch with any artists who might be able to help with it, or are you thinking to do
I
it
did talk to
yourself?
Mark Line, who's out of Virginia, who does a lot of fiberglass artwork. He recently installed Buck Adams on Route 66, and he runs Dinosaur Kingdom 2
Oh.
in uh, Natural Bridge, Virginia. But he also gave me a behind the scenes tour of his workshop.
Hmm.
I kind of got the idea of how to build this, so I think I'm going to try it first.
Okay.
And if it doesn't come out the way I want, then I might, and once we get the money, we might get him to help us
I
out.
met
But
that other guy too.
oh yeah, we met another artist in one of the towns nearby here, Beloit, Kansas, and he has been building a lot of sculptures on the side of his. I think he calls it Grandpa's Jurassic Garage or something like that. He's just eclectic like we are, and just kind of nuts, and just does stuff because he can. Which is also the other nice thing about being in this town in Kansas is there's not a lot of rules that we have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Red Vein and we were opening the escape room there, it took a lot to get all the permits and jump through all the hoops to get the doors open, and none of which, when I asked, where do I get this and who do I talk to about that, when we first came to town, they looked at me like I had three heads.
Oh, well, that's kind of nice, right? Makes things
And they're
easier
like,
for you
"Oh, this is
too.
talker. We don't do that."
Right.
But, hey, that's cool. We can work with those rules.
I
So,
think they were glad that we were coming.
hmm
That's I
it's
was leading me
extremely
into my
positive.
next question was, since it's been, so long that the largest ball of twine has been there and there's been no other real like tourism upbuilding or anything, what was your welcome into town when they found out you were here to build a business?
A lot of people have kind of given us some space. We've had a lot of online interaction with a lot of the folks in town, but there's a core group of folks that we've seen. One gentleman who runs the historical society helped us move in. The lady who actually keeps all the records for the ball of twine has been by and been helpful. We had a reporter stop by the other day that she helped arrange that. So everyone's been extremely helpful and very encouraging. The city, the town has been uh, really encouraging. We say city because it's part of the name. Cawker City is the name of the
Right.
town, but it's 1 square mile, and there's what 400 people here.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really really small.
Well,
But
where
the tourism board is interested in us
Yeah,
too. Like, we've had the Mitchell County Tourism Board has come by a couple of times.
right.
so where's the nearest entertainment outside of your shop and the twine? Do you
Uh,
There's a Mexican restaurant that we like a lot.
yeah, 20 miles one way is a bigger town, and then an hour or so away is a larger town that has like a Walmart and
Okay.
whatnot. We did find a bowling alley about 45 minutes away. So
Wow. So you've definitely just been, I guess, motivated to stay focused on building the store, and there hasn't been any real distractions, huh?
right, yeah, there hasn't been a lot going on
How do you
here.
feel? Because that's so different than Richmond.
Oh, I like it. We like it a lot. We both have been married a couple of times and have children. My kids are older, are both adults. Her older two are also adults, and they all stayed back in Virginia. But her youngest son is 9 and is here with us, and he's been able to go to school for the first time in person and just kind of be a normal kid again.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's also been part of the thing. Like we didn't really do a whole lot of work today. We took off and went to Lucas, Kansas to visit the Garden of Eden, which this
Oh, right.
guy who he was a little nuts himself, and he built all these sculptures in his yard about 100 years ago. And so, yeah, and then he's buried there, and his mummy is there, which I thought was pretty awesome.
That is pretty neat, like how he legally got away with being buried on his own property, but like Elvis did it too.
Yeah. Well,
Except you can see this guy.
yeah, you can actually
Oh,
see his
really?
body.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's kind of
yeah,
neat.
which is cool. I think he said his first wife, is buried under him in the concrete
Yeah,
because
they
he had to
said they're
steal the
digging.
body.
He had to go back and dig her up because they
Yeah.
didn't want him to do that.
Well, that's Kansas, huh?
Right. Yeah. Kansas,
Exactly.
Kansas is different, and it's a nice different where it's more laid back, and uh, so yeah, it's going to be nice. We're gonna I think we're gonna have fun here.
Sounds like a nice setup. So, what is your most like prized display piece? Or I know you both have spent a lot of time painting and building things inside the store. So, what is maybe like your biggest accomplishment?
Oh, actually, I really like just looking around. I'm like, I made that and I built that and I did this.
Right.
So it's kind of nice to have my own artwork and props here. Right behind me in the case behind me is actually a real skeleton. That's our real Frankenstein skeleton. The beginning of COVID, I was gifted several boxes of old teaching specimens from a medical school, and so I actually assembled this gentleman behind me out of bits and pieces of various parts. They're all in the correct places, but they're not from the same individual. So he's my real Frankenstein skeleton.
Oh, that's a
And
good
then
one.
the panel behind us here exists there because there's a door behind the panel that leads directly into our bedroom from the shop, and we didn't want uh, customers just
Yeah,
wandering in.
yeah. No, that
So,
would be
so
awkward.
in order to hide it, we built a panel.
Okay, nice.
So, and then we have a baby alien that I stole from Roswell. We have Count Pluckula, the world's only vampire chicken.
You have the rear view.
The rear view, which is an entire wall of taxidermied butts.
Yeah, I've seen those pictures on Facebook. That's pretty
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that's your favorite part of
That
it.
is my favorite part. Yeah.
So it's just a mix of different stuff. Classic oddities like the fur bearing trout and things like that you would find in other roadside attractions, the Fiji mermaid, and then we've taken some of taxidermy and made it our own, I guess.
Yeah.
Since we're in Kansas, we dressed a raccoon up as Dorothy and a couple of squirrels up as the flying monkeys from the Wizard of Oz.
How did you even find clothes to fit taxidermied animals?
They're all custom made. Thanks to my mom for
Yeah.
helping us make the dress for Dorothy, and then I made the outfits for the flying monkeys out of felt.
Wow. So, is there anything in your shop that hasn't been custom built by somebody?
Yeah, there's a couple of like store bought props. Like we have a cheap animatronic alien that stands at the door who will greet customers just to kind of let them know that there's an alien in the back.
Right.
Um, you know, there are a few bought props, but the majority of the stuff is stuff that we've made or other people have made for us.
That's really unique, and like I hopefully people who visit in word of mouth and whatnot that really spreads because you just don't find that. Other auditoriums and things are usually just collector pieces or like from antique shops and
Right. There's a large chain auditorium who will remain nameless that has their own world's largest ball of twine, and they did a documentary about a decade ago, and they actually came to this town and tried to buy the ball of twine here, and they also went to Darwin, Minnesota, where another ball of twine is. That's the one that Weird Al sings about in his song, and that guy has gone to that town to purchase their ball of twine as well. So they are what they just go around and buy up stuff.
that's
Where most of our stuff is homegrown. We made it here.
right. That just seems pretty unoriginal if you're going to go around and basically stealing other people's ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you come here to Cawker City, which everyone's welcome, you can actually be part of the ball of twine history because you can actually roll twine on it yourself. There's a lady in town who we can hook you up with, and she'll give you some twine and let you roll it around the ball a couple of times. And then there's a big festival in August called the Twine-a-thon. Those are the things that really kind of keep this town going. And so we're just hoping to be part of that fabric of just kind of fun place to stop in and see something unusual and,
Yeah.
spend a little bit of time on your trip.
Now,
We had a great time on our road trip, and we just want to help other people have fun too.
yeah, I did one of those. I took my mom a couple years back, and we did one of those roadside attraction trips just up and down the East Coast. Though we didn't make it out west, but there is some really cool stuff out there and old stuff that the people who are really dedicated to it have just kept it up in good condition.
Yeah.
Right, and the thing is, those things are disappearing,
Right.
and that's one of the reasons why I went last summer was, you always say, oh, when I retire, I'm going to do whatever. I'll drive Route 66. I'll see these things. But the truth is, since I graduated from high school, 90% of that stuff is gone away.
Right.
And by the time I could retire, how much more of it would be left? No one knows. And so, yeah, we're new, but we're hoping to be in that same spirit.
Who knows? Maybe you'll spark the interest of a new generation of, roadside folks or, who knows?
Right.
Because when was the last newest thing like you're doing even, nothing has even came to like Cawker City, for example, until you guys came.
Right.
So people don't really think about doing those types of things anymore.
Right. So it's kind of a big leap of faith for us, a big, okay, we're going to move 1,200 miles away and take everything we own and try to start a business from scratch. Neither one of us have owned a business before.
Did you do a test run? Did you come out and visit and stay for a while and see if you'd enjoy living there, or you just kind of up and leave?
I agreed to move here sight unseen. I've never been here.
Okay.
And we came out in January with a truckload of stuff and spent a weekend here, but that was it.
That was it, one weekend?
One weekend.
Yeah, I had been twice before that. Once when I came to see the ball of twine, and then the second when I came to talk with the realtor and the owner of the building about the purchase.
Yeah.
And then that was on my way back to Virginia during the road trip, and then most everything else we did, remotely. And then once we had already purchased the property, and we brought this stuff from my house back in January, that was the first time she'd ever been in Kansas, right?
Yeah.
And just the third time I've been here. So.
Wow. So you just kind of went on a little bit of leap of faith and gut instinct, huh?
Right, and most of the idea, most of the name, the concept, the color pattern, everything just kind of came up as we drove around and were just thinking about things. I probably visited 100 different places similar to ours across the country, and just getting ideas. Oh, I like how this person did this. I didn't like what this person did here.
Right.
Uh, and then also talking to our friends Kitty and Ryan from Red Vein and
Yes.
getting some business advice from them. And of course, the experience of helping literally build the escape room
Yeah.
and the haunted houses that they do um, really kind of gave me the confidence to say, you know what, this is something that we can do, and we'll give it a while, to see if it works. And if after 5 years or so this doesn't work, then we can figure out what to do next. But this is where we're going to be for a while, and I don't think we're going to have a problem being successful here because there's no competition.
And you came
And
at a good
everyone who
time of
walks
year
in the door
too.
is
Off. You came like during the off season, I guess. Do they have like a tourist season?
Yeah, they have a tour season where there's more people who come, probably May to October or November.
So the
Is
timing is
probably
lining up good for you guys too.
right. But
But there are people at the ball every day.
every day,
Really?
every day that we've been working in here. In fact, since we've been talking here this evening, a couple just walked across past the store, and had we not been talking to you, I probably would have let them in and showed them around.
Right.
But yeah, we've had lots of people in the building even before we're officially open, just checking out what we're doing, and the overwhelming majority of people have been extremely positive.
That's really cool. So I guess you have like pamphlets made up or something to hand out to the people who are coming through, or it's just kind of.
We have some stickers, and then the monster finger puppet is going to be our mascot, so we've
Yeah.
been giving out some of those. And so yeah, it's just fun stuff. And but literally, we're right on the main street, and you can see the ball of twine from where we are, and they can see us. So they're like, something's going on up there. And now, of course, since we painted everything,
Yeah.
all these bright colors, they're, people are wanting to see what's happening,
Yeah.
and we have a concrete Bigfoot out front. And so I think daily people have taken pictures with that too. So, people are just interested in what's going on and what else is here in town.
Well, you guys sound like you are just in the right kind of spot, kind of it's already a known area, but it's also not overly saturated and
Right. It
yeah.
was kind of the perfect opportunity. The
Yeah.
price of the building, the condition of the building, the flow of customers,
Right.
the fact that there's no competition, and then finding vendors were really kind of easy. We had looked for a little bit on our own to buy like a refrigerator for sodas, and then once I talked to the Coke company here in this area of Kansas, they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll bring you a machine and we'll fix it for you if it breaks and whatever." And it's already here
Wow,
in
that's like
the
it's just
shop.
meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is just falling into place.
We had a lot of lead time when we were still in Richmond to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
put the little things into place that weren't painting or putting things on the walls or stuff like that, but put the other stuff into place. So a lot of that was done before we got here.
Right.
Mhm. That's amazing. And how do you like living right next to your business? Is that just like the life or?
All the commute is so
I know traffic, right?
exasperating. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's wonderful not to have to, you know,
You don't
I
have to
might put
stress
shoes
about
on
your
to get
business
here.
when you're not home. I mean, when you're
Right.
home, you don't have to worry about what's going on at the shop and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I guess in the future it may end up being, trouble disconnecting, but because my plan is for this first year, I'm gonna try to be as open as much as that we can because we don't really know what days of the week are better than
yeah,
others,
right.
what times of the day are better. So my plan is just to be open all the time that we physically can be.
Yeah.
I know she and her son are planning on going back to Virginia to visit and some other obligations, but unless my daughter just got married. Unless there's a grandchild in the mix, I don't think I'm going to be going back. And please, Grace, don't on my account. So yeah, so um, I'm just not going to plan on taking any major time away until we figure out
What the
flow.
balance is
Yeah.
and when
Right.
everything is happening. Yeah.
So, but by being able to be here all the time, we can, I don't feel like I'm going to be chained to this room. We can still be making, the changes that we want to make
Right.
to our living space, changing out tile colors and paint colors and things like that. I can be working on that, in between customers, because it's not going to be like 15 people at all times in the building.
Right.
I'm expecting there to be a family that are here for 30 minutes, and then they leave, and then there might be an hour, and then there's another group that comes in. That's the way I'm expecting business to be. And with already owning the building right out, we don't own anything on it. Our business expenses are lower. So we have to pay the electricity and water and whatever the stock is,
Right.
and that's really all we have the overhead that we have at this point.
Wow.
So
That is
yeah.
like the dream business. I mean, like, you just got it made.
That's
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah,
hear
it's
people starting up businesses and it's all, just a lot of growing pains and, horror stories and things, but everything's just lining up for y'all.
it is. We did talk to one bank about maybe getting a loan, but because of COVID, they
Yeah.
weren't loaning money to anybody. It wasn't just us. In fact, the lady was like, "Man, I wish I could give you money,"
Oh,
but because they really like everybody we told the concept was like on board right away, and so it's just been uh, yeah, it's just been so easy. Things have just fallen into place like it was meant to be. So we're just so happy to be here.
yeah, that's perfect. And I got the link to your Facebook page in show notes for people after they view to get in touch with you guys. Do you have a website up and running yet? Or should Facebook be the main contact point?
I think
I'd say
Facebook would
Facebook.
would be the main
Facebook.
at this point. We do have a website, but we seem to post more on Facebook.
It's
than we
easier
do
access. It's
anywhere else.
easier to update than a whole website.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I don't really understand a whole lot about the technical side of running
I don't either.
a website. So it's Facebook is more user friendly and more interactive, and
Right.
people can ask questions on there, and and talk. And like we posted some photos of our paint job
Yeah.
2 days ago, and we've already had over 3,000 hits. Or
Wow.
3,000 engagements, I guess is what they call it.
Okay.
Where people, have seen it and liked it and passed it on to somebody else. And so, those things are very encouraging, that people are really wanting to see us succeed.
That's awesome that you have so much support already and your doors aren't even open.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to even put a sign on the door saying we're opening soon.
Uh-huh.
Oh, people just were trying to come in.
Right.
There was
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And we had stuff in front of the door, the main door, and people would come into the side residence door, looking for us, because they're that eager to see what we're up against.
Yeah. That's good. And I'm happy to hear that the locals aren't like, they could be, those small towns can kind of be resistant to change and, new things coming in. So that's awesome that even the town is happy to see you guys.
Yeah, I think for the most part, we haven't really encountered many of the folks who may not be happy
Yeah.
that are here. But I did have one conversation with a gentleman. I was outside painting one day, and he said something because of the theme that we have, and he was worried that we were bringing Satan to his town or something like that. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
And if
and
you
I
do
talked to
anything
him
for
for a few minutes.
Krampus, I'm sure you'll get comments then too.
Yeah, and see, the thing they don't realize is I used to be a minister, so I can talk all that stuff all day long. I can
Right.
talk theology all day long, and then also the fact that as I explained to him, I was like, I know the town is trying to upgrade some of their plumbing throughout the city, and which costs money. And every car that goes through this town and doesn't spend a dime here when they stop to see the ball is just money that the town has lost. And every customer that we can get in the door and that spends money with us is tax money that we're keeping in the town that
Yeah.
helps pay for these kinds of things. And he was like, "Oh, okay, I see that now." And so, you know, so I think he was just trying to check us out. I was also think he was trying to see if I was going to be intimidated and kind of back down. And,
Yeah, just testing you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the goal is if someone goes to the ball of twine to keep them in town for as long as possible.
Right. Yeah.
And if we do well, maybe it'll help the business that has all the little ends, or maybe it'll create an opportunity where someone will be able to open up a lunch counter or something here, a little greasy spoon restaurant,
Yeah.
in town,
Yeah.
and maybe somebody else can start some other business. There's a lot of vacant space here in this town, and there's a lot of opportunity here. So if any of the listeners out there are looking to try to do something different, there's opportunity in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as expensive it is on the East Coast to try to get your feet wet. And thankfully we recognized the opportunity that was here and we're able to take it. And we're in a place that we were able to do it at the time. But I think this is going to be something fun.
It really sounds fun. It sounds like it's worth planning a trip already, just from my point of view.
Yeah, come on out.
Yeah.
We'd love to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since you do have such like a oddball collection of stuff that you've used to make these props and displays and things, have you had any strange activity or anything happening? Or, I mean, this is a paranormal talk show, so I just have to ask.
Right. I've never been one that's really been able to sense activity, but her son woke up the other night saying that he heard banging down here. I think it was the dog, because
yeah,
part of the bargaining chip to get him to agree or to be more, agreeable to the situation of moving away from his family was that my dog became his dog.
Okay.
And so he sleeps in his room with him, and she is kind of an itchy dog. And so I used to work nights, and there were many times that she would be scratching, and you know how a dog will do their paw when they
start thumping. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she would hit the floor, and there were lots of times that I would jump up out of bed and go answer the door, and there was nobody there. It was because the dog was doing it. And so I think that's what it was, but who knows?
He says that she was sitting on his bed the whole time.
Well, we don't know. I know that we're trying to get up with a paranormal group here in Kansas out of Wichita, and so maybe there is something here. I do know that I have heard a few local stories that there's a body buried down the street in what used to be the old blacksmith shop and whatnot. So
well,
who knows?
Maybe you could also start running a ghost walk or something and have it be hosted out of your shop.
A lot of stories.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody listening who knows local legends, whether they have to do with ghosts or aliens or cryptozoology creatures or whatnot, get in contact with me. I'd love to talk to you about all those stories and kind of start compiling a list. And then if we get enough stories, I would like to do a ghost tour and say, this is the site of, where this happened. Right. I've also heard about the one murder here, or suicide that happened here in town, which, there was some controversy around. So who knows?
Yeah.
Once I get my ducks in a row with that, then absolutely I would love to do a ghost tour.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, it has been great talking to both of you. Is there any final comments that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Eyegore's Odditorium and Monster Museum. Check us out online and come to Kansas and see us and buy lots and lots of stuff.
Buy all the things. All the pop.
Buy all the things. Yeah.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sure, anytime. And if you guys ever have any other news, events, updates, whatever you want to come back on, you're always welcome.
Certainly. All right. Well, thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Good night.
Night.
So that was a little different start to the show than normal, and what you guys are used to. But as also a couple of things going on. That was Matt and Julie from Calker City, Kansas, with the world's largest ball of twine being right across from their brand new business called Eyegore's Odditorium and Monster Museum in Calker City, Kansas. And the link to that is in show notes. You may have noticed the beginning of the show was a lot different than normal. You may have noticed that, obviously there was some audio and visual anomalies. It's kind of a result of two things. First of all, the good news, I have learned how to cross stream. Very, very, very big stuff here with the technology happening. It lets me stream to multiple platforms at the same time. So I can, I'm streaming to Twitch and I'm also streaming to Facebook at the same time tonight. Now, I know you guys also didn't have a lot of notice that I was doing a show and I haven't been doing them in a while, so you're not used to me broadcasting anymore and blah blah blah. So yeah, not as many people in here as what I'm used to, but so you're not used to me but hopefully you guys are watching after the fact, or watching this after it's been live, and are still enjoying the content. So keep on reaching out to me and let me know what you want to see in the show. Let me know what you have enjoyed already from past episodes, what you're looking forward to. And let me just, yeah. Let me know where you would like to see the show go next. If you want to be a guest, I'm always booking interviews. And I'm still getting comfortable with this platform, with Twitch. This is still like only my 5th day using it, so there's some there's some awkward moments for sure, but we'll get through those. And if you are watching on Twitch, there is an option to tip me down on the bottom of the page, which would be super cool if you have enjoyed any of what I've been doing this week. Let's see, I made tomato pie, lots of Candy Crush streaming. If there's any games you would like to see me play on Twitch, also just drop those notes in the suggestion box. There is one, it's on the bottom of the page also, next to the tips and next to the link to the Teespring store, which is still up and running. Julie just came in chat. Hi. You can, I think you, even though this is live, I still think you can rewind and watch your interview if you want to. So, I wasn't sure that I was going to get this cross streaming to work tonight, but I did. It's a little rough, so go ahead and forget about all that. And just click the like, subscribe, follow button, and come back and check us out again. We will be doing live shows now every Sunday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on both Twitch and Facebook. And those links are in show notes on YouTube channel. And they will also be posted on Twitch as well, so that you have easy access. And again, if you have anything spooky or interesting or odd that you would like to promote or just chat about, or if you've had any experiences that you would like to share, ghost stories you'd like to tell, whatever, I would be more than happy to have you on the show. And I also like to book musicians. If you want to do a little live set, promote your newest album, just get some airtime, you can email me, paraannhaunts, or paraann@cwtd.co. Oh, this is Colin, Julie's son. Oh, hi, Colin. Did you get to watch any of the interview with your mom and Matt? So yeah, you can email me, paraann@cwtd.co. Give me a call. You can leave me a voice message on my voice line, and the number is 443-267-8217, or you can reach out to me on Facebook. I am at the Paraann, or you can just go to the Coffee with the Dead Facebook page and message me there. So we will be back next Sunday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And during the week, I will be on Twitch doing whatever I feel like doing. So make sure to follow and subscribe to me there, as well as on YouTube. And until next time, y'all, remember, the veil is thin.